Why doesn't meditation work?
Because there are many factors that hinder meditation, and first of all, it's either a sluggish or an agitated mind. Another factor is energy. These are blocked channels through which energy cannot move, circulate properly, or enter the central channel. Third, an insufficiently stable and correct posture. Fourth, an insufficient level of energy. And fifth, weak concentration. And you could say that you decided to practice meditation, but in reality you shouldn't be meditating right now. You should be working on concentration. Here's a very typical situation. A student comes to a guru and says, "I simply cannot meditate." The guru tells him, "Leave meditation aside for now, don't practice it yet, focus on preparation and concentration." You need to spend a long time practicing concentration on a single point. On the flame of a candle, on the visualized syllable Om, or on the image of a deity. And only when you can concentrate for 1/6 of a day, 4 hours straight, without any difficulty, and your concentration becomes one-pointed, then meditation will happen for you. Then your concentration will transform into meditation. It is believed that if you can concentrate on something for 12 seconds, that is concentration or dharana. And if you can concentrate 12 times for 12 seconds, that is for 144 seconds on something, that will be dhyana. And if you can concentrate one-pointedly 12 times for 144 seconds, which is about 29 minutes, that will be samadhi. So, samadhi means that meditation is going very successfully. Meditation reveals spiritual experience. On the other hand, when meditation is not going successfully, there is neither samadhi nor meditation itself, dhyana. This is a sign that you need to switch to concentration. Practice concentration starting with 5 minutes. Increase by 1 minute every day. When you reach about 1 hour, stop increasing. And every day practice concentration for 1 hour. Let this concentration continue for half a year. And when you are able to forget everything except the object of your concentration for an entire hour, so that your will and your gaze are inseparably focused on the object of concentration, and as if the whole world disappears and only the object of your concentration remains, on the point, on the flame, on the candle, and your breath begins to slow down, and your energy starts to enter the sushumna, into the nadi, into the central channel, this means you are achieving the first successes in concentration. After 6 months, you need to switch from a gross object of concentration to a subtle one. This is called sukshma dharana, and you should begin practicing visualization of the syllable Om, or the image of a deity, and continue concentrating on this subtle object. And practice this as well for 6 months. And when you achieve similar successes, and your mind does not weaken, fade, get distracted, become agitated or sluggish for an hour, and you can concentrate without moving, then you have achieved certain successes in concentration, although not complete ones. Complete success in concentration means that you can practice concentration for 4 hours straight, or even an entire day, or even 3 days, without getting distracted. These are great achievements in dharana, in concentration. And only then, when you are able to practice concentration, can you proceed to meditation, and your meditation will be successful. However, many people, when they start practicing concentration, feel that even concentration does not work out for them, because the preliminary stage of pratyahara has not been completed. Pratyahara means turning the mind inward. That is why before concentration, it is recommended to simply sit and focus on the tip of your nose. To draw in the sense organs and the senses like a turtle pulls its limbs under its shell. That's why, quite often, when a student comes to a guru and asks, "Guru, I can't meditate," the guru replies, "Don't practice meditation yet, focus on concentration." A month later, the student comes back and says, "Guru, even concentration doesn't work for me." The guru says, "Then you need to practice pratyahara. First, you need to learn to withdraw your senses inward, to detach from the surrounding reality. Learn to sit while concentrating on the tip of your nose. This is called Nasikagra Drishti or Agochari Mudra. You don't need to concentrate on the tip of your nose with your eyes. You need to concentrate with your mind. With your eyes, it's enough to find the tip of your nose once by focusing your gaze. And where the wings of the nose form a triangle, there is the apex of that triangle. That is the point where you need to concentrate. If you can sit like this for a long time, at least for half an hour or an hour, and it doesn't cause you any discomfort, you can proceed to the practice of concentration. But in this story, a student comes to the guru and says, I can't even manage pratyahara. My mind is restless, my body fidgets, I want to jump up and go somewhere. The guru says, well then you need to practice pranayama. Pranayama comes from two words, prana and ayama, that is energy and effort, diligence, the application of attention to energy. Pranayama means you restrain your breath by doing kumbhaka, breath retention. Kumbha means pitcher, and kumbhaka means holding the breath and packing the energy in the abdomen, like a pitcher. You need to learn different types of pranayama and cleanse the channels so that energy can circulate freely through them. That's why we practice Anuloma Viloma, Sahita Kumbhaka, Mahabandha. These are three universal pranayamas. If you can hold your breath for at least 2 to 2.5 minutes, that's already an indication that you are ready to practice dharana and pratyahara. But in this story, the student comes and says, I can't even practice pranayama, it doesn't work. After 15 seconds of breath retention, that's it. Then the guru says, that's the problem. Your channels are too clogged, probably because you ate too much meat. In general, everything got blocked. You need to work on your body thoroughly and start practicing asanas. Do asanas, make your body flexible so that the tangled channels, the tangled hopes, straighten out, smooth out, and expand. You need to improve your blood circulation and make your body flexible. Do asanas every morning for at least an hour. Do Bhujangasana, do Matsyendrasana, do Paschimottanasana, do Chakrasana, do Matsyasana. Even if you do a small set of 20 asanas in the morning, it greatly helps to cleanse the channels. When the twisted, stuck and tangled energy channels in the body straighten out and expand, it is very beneficial. The energy begins to circulate and you will feel lightness in your body. But in this story, the student comes to the guru and says, I can't even do asanas, it's hard for me, my body isn't flexible. Then the guru says, when you learn to observe the commandments, yama and niyama, follow the commandment of brahmacharya, control your sexual desire, don't eat meat, don't lie, be truthful. Yama and niyama include various rules of moral discipline. Ahimsa, asteya, aparigraha, satya, brahmacharya, that is, non-violence, always adhering to the truth. Control of sexual energy, non-possessiveness, abstinence, inner self-discipline. And so the guru selects a method for the student at the level where he is able to practice. And you must determine these levels for yourself. These are the classical levels according to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Everything begins with yama and niyama, then comes asana and pranayama. Then comes pratyahara, then dharana, dhyana and samadhi. And you need to determine at which level you can practice sadhana. And in this way you move towards mastering meditation. Prepare yourself. When you build a foundation, your meditation will happen naturally and effortlessly. What is important to understand? Meditation is naturally inherent to our consciousness. There is a layer of consciousness where meditativeness is natural. Our subtle level of awareness is always in meditation. And once we raise our energy level or concentration and enter into that subtle level of awareness, we will feel meditation happening. It happens, it is always there. It's just that our attentional energy was not enough to reach this subtle level.